7:17 in the morning. I do apologize if there's going to be any kind of interruption or lag. This is the first time I'm doing a live stream with my new modem, the XB6 from Xfinity, which is supposed to give you about 1 gig. And I don't know if people understand exactly what that means. 1 gig basically is, I think, mainly if you got internet, and it's 1 gig of speed, and then the Wi-Fi is kind of different. I guess kind of runs on a different system or different what. Basically, Wi-Fi is supposed to be faster, and it is in a sense, but not as fast as I think certain people want it. And I kind of have my suspicions, just like anybody else, that let's just say the ISP providers like Xfinity, they know what they're doing because of what's happened recently. So just be on the lookout for that. Even though I think here in California, they're not really supposed to do anything now. Apparently, I'm not really sure. Um, but yeah, you guys see the titles right before you. And again, like I said, I do apologize if there's any kind of lag, possible interruption. There shouldn't be, because what this likes to do is it likes to kind of tell me that I have my network and everything, and then when I load a page or something like that, it decides to go off for about a second and then identifying it back to network. So I'm not really sure what that means. And I'm not well. I know what that means, but I'm not really sure why they do that. You think they would fix that? You think they would fix that and stuff? Um, I'm just linking the live feed right now to um, some other places, to the Facebook groups and all that. So just be a second here. Just be a second, like I said. Yeah, but like I said, you kind of see what the title is, and in the description if you're watching. Basically, a lot of news, and if not reactions to certain MLP related, if not MLP, like I said, there have been some news and reactions to some of the latest MLP. Okay. Looks like my account got blocked temporarily. Again. Don't know why it does that. Should go to Twitter. It might work a little bit better. But anyway, like I said, yeah, a lot has a lot of news and reactions have gone down this past week or so, and the reason I bring that up, the reason I say that, and again, like I said, you kind of see exactly what the topic is talking about. You kind of see what the topic is, what some of the topics are. And I want to start off by something that I've talked about in a video I did during lunch at work a couple of days ago. You see, Dr. Wolf recently did a vid where Dr. Wolf, like I said, recently did a video where he reviewed Roller Coaster of Friendship. Now, according to Dr. Wolf, it was a special that kind of snuck up on us. It was like it just came out of nowhere. From what they said, it just came out of nowhere on Discovery Family this past week, because we knew obviously we were getting another Equestria Girl special. We just didn't think it was going to be so soon, but yet here you are. But what's interesting about the special, excuse me there. But again, what I'm saying, what's interesting about the special what's interesting about it is the fact that again, like I said, what's interesting about it, um, like I said, what's interesting about it, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of distracted here with my dog. She's right here, so. um, but like I said, what's interesting about it is the reaction it got from a lot of the community, because a lot of the community, if you will, a lot of the fan base, a lot of the fan base looked at, they looked at basically two of the characters that were focused on, that being Equestria Girl's Rarity and Equestria Girl's Applejack. And hold on for a second, I'll be right back. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, I was talking to my dog before I went to get her some snacks. But anyway, like I was saying, adjust this here a little bit. It got a lot of reactions from a lot of the community, and the reaction basically, if I can get myself centered again here, sorry. But the reaction basically was, because as I was saying, it focused on two Equestria Go characters, that being the Equestria Go versions of Rarity and Applejack. And we had several fans pointing this out. In fact, one fan on YouTube did a video. I'm going to try to look up their name. But they recently did a vid. They recently did a video, and again, I'm going to look up their name. I'm going to look up their name right now. Hold on for a sec. Brooke, the Book Horse, did a video entitled "Rarajack is ... canon, multiple question marks, and all that." Because what she did is she looked at some of the scenes, some of the details that she felt, she felt pretty much canonized what's known as Rarajack, which is a romantic shipping name, which is one of the romantic shipping names that fans give couples that they want to see shipped or they feel need to be shipped and stuff like that. Just like a lot of fans do Sparity, which is short for Spike and Rarity when it comes to those two, or Flashlight because of Twilight and Flash Century, or Flutterdash because of Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash. or Apple Dash or Flutter or Rainbow Jack or Rain Jack. You get the idea. Um, these are just shipping names that they give the couples they feel need to be shipped or perfectly compatible or basically compatible to be shipped together. And there are a ton of scenes, especially, when you get towards the end of the climax of the special, there's a ton of scenes that would indicate that Rarity and Applejack is indeed canon. That this is indeed Hasbro's way of saying, yeah, we have a lesbian couple in Equestria Girls besides Lyra and Bonbon, which I guess, according to some people, took a lot of persuading on the fans' parts to get Hasbro to at least acknowledge that there's something there. I'm not saying that's exactly what they did, but for them to but like I said, for them to acknowledge that in a sense, is, I guess, a huge stepping stone, because like I said in the video I did during lunchtime, and even a follow-up, somewhat of a follow-up video the other day after work, is, and even Anthony C, I think, kind of, and thank you, Anthony Ken and Anthony C, for responding to me. I really appreciate that. Even he said that it's going to, what he said something along the lines, and I'm going to try to find it here. Yeah, he replied right here, if I can bring this up. Anthony C basically said, "Nah, you'll never get it official. Best a shipper can hope is that the writers secretly want it too." So what he's saying there is, even though Hasbro, as I've said before and others have said before, won't directly come out and state that a ship is canon. Let me up the volume a little bit here, so you might hear an increase in volume. There we go. But like I said, even though they won't indicate or acknowledge that a ship is canon, doesn't mean it isn't. And like I said, doesn't mean it isn't. And if that is the case, hey, even though, because what I'm getting from what Anthony is saying here is, in his response to me, is, well, basically what we've all felt. And that is the fact that even though we as adult fans, the older fans, the fans that are in college, the fans that are in high school, like I said, even though we as fans, the adult fans, the fans that are in, high school, the fans that are in college, the fans that have everyday life, that are parents, what have you. Um, Even though we could pretty much, point out that, yeah, there, and I'm just adjusting the filter here. Even though we could point out that, yeah, there is something there, that, yeah, that's too much evidence to state otherwise, that, oh, well, we could see that they're shipping this couple. They can deny it all they want. They're shipping this couple. Even though we could pretty much point out a lot of evidence, like I've said before in the previous two vids, and I'll say again, and I do apologize for any of the wind when I did those videos, because pretty much it was windy. Not as windy as it should be, but still it was windy. Anyway. Like I said, even though young kids may not see it, we as adult fans see the evidence. We see that, oh, yeah, we know what you're doing here, Hasbro. We know what the writers are doing, but they can't come out and say anything, because at the end of the day, it's still a kid's show. So like Anthony said here, in his reply to me, the best we can only get out of this is if the writers behind the episode, behind the show itself, behind both shows themselves, want it secretly as well. In other words, they want to see Rara Jack become officially canon. They want to see Twilight, TriStar, which is Twilight Starlight, to become canon. They want to see Spike Rarity become canon. They want to see all this happen, but at the end of the day, it's still a kid's show, and there's a lot of kids, young boys and girls, that are not going to be too much into the romance. Even though Equestria Girls, its initial reasoning for existence at the time was to find a way around that. Which is true. Initially, when Equestria Girls was created, one of the primary reasons was to get around the whole, okay, how are we going to do this, without upsetting people? How are we going to do this without losing our audience? How are we going to do romance in My Little Pony? And the best solution, apparently, was to create a spinoff. But how do you get to that spinoff? You create a story to make that spinoff a reality, and that's exactly what they did. They made that spinoff a reality, and that was Equestria Girls. Again, and here's the thing: Equestria Girls still may not be the most popular or accepted of the fan base. It may not be, and and that's truth. That is the truth. It still may not be very accepted, but it's coming along nicely. I mean, here's the thing. It's like I said, it's tackling the romance part that Friendship is Magic kind of teases now, or is trying to get to now. It kind of teases that, or it kind of tackles that, but also tackles some other things as well. So, it's basically, it's doing what a lot of what it's supposed to do. It's tackling subjects like romance, high school, stuff like that Friendship is Magic is not doing. And that's pretty cool. I'll give them that. I will give them that right off the bat. That is good to see. That is good to see. That they're doing that. it is good, to see that they're doing that with Equestria girls, that they're tackling, all these subjects. It's good that they're doing it. It's good that they're tackling romance. It's good they're tackling high school, that. And Roller Coaster of Friendship also tackles, what they do when they're not in school, and primarily it's get a summer job, which from what we understand is exactly what they did here in the special. They got jobs, all of them, at the amusement park. So that was pretty cool. But the thing is, even though they are tackling subjects like that, there are topics they have yet to tackle. That friendship is magic, thanks to, and is in part, I would believe, the influence of Equestria Girls, as crazy as that may sound, is tackling subjects that Equestria Girls hasn't gone to yet. I mean, you take a look at School Days, and there's a good example. There's a good example right there. But getting to what I'm saying here, because I know I sound like I'm rambling. Of course, it's early. It's 7:42 in the morning Pacific time on this Thursday, July 12th. But what I'm getting at is basically, ever since Roller Coaster of Friendship came out, a lot of the fan base has, and I discovered this just by going on, and I discovered this, what I'm saying, just by going on some of the Facebook group pages that I'm a part of. And I looked at a lot of the Facebook group pages, and I was like, okay, what's this about? Because, like Dr. Wolf said, it kind of snuck up on us. We didn't know that there was a special that had just come out. We didn't know, that another. I mean, we knew. Here's the thing: we knew there was another Equestria Girl special planned. We just didn't know it was going to come out so soon. So that was, again, I think that's what kind of surprised us, was we didn't know it was coming, and yet here it is out of nowhere this past Saturday. And overall, a lot of people look at it and say that for the first, because what Dr. Wolf said in his review, and I think a lot of people agree with this, is for the first time in a while, Equestria Girls felt like a Friendship is Magic episode. An Equestria Girls special felt like a Friendship is Magic episode. That's what it felt like. Yes, it was Equestria Girls. Yes, it was the human version of the main six or the main seven. But it played out more like a episode you see in Friendship is Magic, because it didn't primarily focus on Starlight and Sunset. It focused on Rarity and Applejack. And I think and honestly, I think that was always and honestly, I think that's a good thing, because even though a lot of the Equestria Gold specials, the some that have come out, the shorts, and even the movies, depending on which ones you like, even though they themselves have proven to be successful and have good storytelling, the one thing that's always detracted a lot of people from hopping on board with Equestria Girls and accepting it as part of Friendship is Magic is the fact that it would primarily, most times, only focus on it would only focus, that was my dog, it would only focus on like I said, it would only focus primarily on Twilight and and starlight, or twilight. I mean, not starlight, but twilight and sunset. It would primarily only focus on them. That's about it. It wouldn't focus, on anybody else. It wouldn't focus on, you know, it wouldn't focus on, it wouldn't focus on the other characters. I mean, it would try to, but most times it would only focus on, it would only focus on on Twilight and Sunset. And even though that was good, even though the stories around it would be good, hold on for a sec, even though the stories around it would be good, that would always be a detraction. That would always be a detraction for a lot of the people. Hold on for a sec. Be right back. Sorry, folks. Just had to let my dog go out to go potty, and I had to give her a snack too. So sorry about that. That's why you saw. That's who you saw me talking to there. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, you know, what was I saying again? Sorry about that. But yeah, basically, again, sorry, my brain just doing a brain fart here. Sorry, trying to remember what I said. Um, but yeah, oh, that's right. Basically, getting back to this episode, getting back to the reaction to it, um, a lot of fans felt that one of the reasons that's always kept people from liking, fully accepting Equestria Girls was the fact that most of the stories would center around Sunset or Twilight, or Sci-Twi, and wouldn't focus on any of the other characters until you got to the shorts, and then now recently with this episode, and I think even Forgotten Friendship, but that was mostly still a Sunset episode, or Sunset special. The point is, it was never really accepted until you started focusing more on either the other characters, the other Humane Evan, or you kind of went back and forth between Friendship is Magic, because that was the one thing fans always want to see. Sometimes they want to see Sunset Shimmer go back to Ponyville. They want to see her go back to Canterlot in Equestria world, in the Friendship is Magic world, because a lot of fans feel she's more suited there than she is Equestria Girls, even though she's pretty much the face of Equestria Girls, you know, which is the truth in a sense. When you think about it, it's kind of the truth. She's kind of the face of Equestria Girls. Now, this special, like I said, didn't just focus on, it didn't just focus, apparently on the whole Rarity Applejack's friendship deal. It didn't just focus on that. Because apparently Rarajack sorry about that. I'm just gonna go to my phone right now. Apparently, a lot of social media are locking up on stuff, and I can understand security-wise and everything, but come on, seriously. It's getting a little too stressful. But, again, like I'm saying, apparently Rarajack wasn't the only ship, if you will, that was kind of teased here. Right. Like I said, apparently, Rarajack wasn't the only ship teased here by Hasbro, by DHX, by the writers, because you had moments where Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash were together because they went on a roller coaster, which, when you think about it, it's kind of weird because not that long ago on Friendship is Magic, we had Rainbow Dash wanting to go on this roller coaster that Soren's telling about, and she's totally cool with it. And we see a photo montage of her enjoying it, at the end of the episode. But yet this Rainbow Dash becomes freaking fearful of roller coasters after going on one. So I guess there is a bit of a difference there. Like, okay, the Friendship is Magic Rainbow Dash likes him more than the Humane one. It's kind of weird to look at. But, getting back on what I'm trying to say here, we're getting back on topic. But basically, yeah, Rarejack isn't the only ship apparently that was getting teased here. Flutterdash, which is Rainbow Dash Fluttershy, was another one because of their time spent together. And then I guess you could say Sunset Sci-Twi or Sunset Twilight was another one being teased. I can't really say because they spent time together. Again, it's again, it's kind of weird that a lot of fans would look at this episode or this special of Equestria Girls and say this is the one that's canonizing a lot of the lesbian or Yuri ships in the show. Even though, as I mentioned earlier, we don't know that. We don't really know if that's true or not because, here's the thing. When you take a look, because I know it sounds like I'm rambling, and again, like I said, it's early, but let's take a look at why a lot of fans feel like this. You see, it's not just with Equestria Girls. Another thing that kind of indicates this or teases this, according to Brony's React, which is a series of videos that AC Race Best or AR Race Best, I believe. Let me check. I'm sorry, I do apologize for saying it wrong. AC Race Best host on his YouTube channel. The latest one that they did was on school days. And there were two moments towards the end of school days. The moment the main seven came to the rescue of the student six, and during the song, where you had these two moments with Starlight and Twilight. And it's like, you see Race Best reaction, and you hear his fiance reaction in the background. It's like, and I think you even see the other reaction of the other analysis community, other members of the community, one in this episode, in this reaction video, and they're pretty much all thinking the same thing. Like, okay, what's going on here? Is Hasbro trying to send a message? And I don't think it's necessarily the trying to send a message. I think, like I mentioned earlier, Anthony C basically said it best. Secretly, it seems like the writers want to see something come of this as well. It's like, okay, you're not allowing Rarity, Applejack, Fluttershy, Rainbow Dash, Pinky, Twilight, Starlight, to have any kind of romantic involvement. Yet you're suddenly deciding that romance is good for the secondary characters, the semi-major characters like Maud and Big Mac, by putting them with Sugar Belle when it comes to Big Mac, and Mudbriar when it comes to Maud Pie. You think, okay, that's all cool, but these other but the main characters not so much. Yet, from the very beginning, you've teased us with Spike Rarity, which again, I'll stand by and say that if you don't do something to make that officially canonized, besides just Secret of My Excess, and now with what's happened with Spike in story and what's to come possibly, if you don't find a way to make that canonized and basically say, yeah, there is something there between them more than just friendship, find a way around it, then what was the point of even teasing it if you're not going to allow the main 7 of Friendship is Magic to have any kind of romantic inklings? I mean, the only character that's the closest to showing interest in romance and wanting to have a romantic relationship is Rarity, which is why you pair her, which is why you paired her with Spike, which is why you did this whole Spike thing. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Then on top of that, if you want to kind of make it a little bit canonized and connect the two shows, you have Flash Sentry, possibly as a love interest for Twilight, and yet we don't see him that much. We kind of get an in-joke in Forgotten Friendship doing a deleted scene that you can see on the Hasbro YouTube channel, but that's about it. We don't see anything else. And it's like what's the point of even having a character that's interested in romance? That what's the point of having that? What's the point of teasing it if you're not going to do anything? I mean, you tease it with Soren and Dash. Excuse me. You tease it with Tenderhoof, or whatever his name is, Trenderhoof, and Applejack. You kind of tease it maybe somewhat with Cheese Sandwich and Pinky. Heck, let's be honest. You're pretty much sending out vibrations that Starlight and Sunburst are going to be an item, yet you're not going there. And that pairing right there is perfect for that to happen with. That pairing right there is perfect for that to be, to become a reality. You have this long-lasting friendship. Well, not long-lasting, but you have this friendship that has gone through a lot of ups and downs. And now here's your opportunity to take it to a whole new level by saying, you know what? Let's evolve that friendship. And maybe we'll get that. Maybe we'll get that in season 9. Maybe we'll get an indication of that in the upcoming Christmas special. Who knows? But the point is, if you're going to do, romance or tease it in any of the current MLP products, franchises, then you need to follow through on it. You need to make something happen. I mean, why even do why begin Meltdown and focus primarily on most of Meltdown primarily, not just on Spike's changes, not just on the physical changes that Spike's going through, but also what's going on with Rarity. Heck, you even begin the episode with Rarity and Spike. You have moments in there where even though she's sweet talking him and playing to the continuity of previous seasons, like with mentions of Shadow Spade and all that, it's like, come on, seriously, if you're going to keep teasing this, do something. That's one thing. Anthropony has a point. Cartoon Gentleman and Anthropony have a point. Sorry there. Do something about this, address it, and in my opinion, make it canonized. Make this an official pairing that's canonized, or do something that's going to say, yeah, there is something there, but that's about it. Or at least indicate that, yeah, there is something there between them, but that's not the primary focus of the show. And again, that's the one reason Equestria Girls was made. It was made basically because it was Hasbro's way, Megan McCarthy's way of getting around that. It was their way of getting around that so that you can get romance involved in the series, in the MLP series somehow. You can have possible relationships be developed. Now, I'm sure Megan McCarthy, Nicole Dubach, and anybody else involved with the Equestria Girls spinoff, which is primarily somewhat the same writing staff as Friendship is Magic, I'm pretty sure they didn't expect fans to start looking at, you know, Yuri lesbian pairings of the Humane Seven, just like they probably don't expect them to look at the main seven with that same indication. But yet, when you start throwing out vibes like they've been doing, it's like, what else do you expect? What else do you feel you're going to get in return? I'm just saying. I mean, heck, the photo montage at the end of Roller Coaster of Friendship, as uh, as the book horse said, as I think Brune, the book horse, I'm sorry if I forgot your name right there, said, kind of indicated, pretty much, it pretty much certifies what a lot of fans feel, or a lot of fans have felt over this past weekend with the reaction. The fact that you're pretty much canonizing Rarity and Applejack and Equestria Girls, even though you won't come out and say it. Because, like I said, and I'll say again, the only way we'll get any kind of canonization of any of these suspected shippings of lesbianism or Uranus in Equestria Girls, in Friendship is Magic, the only way is if the writers, the creative staff behind the shows, behind the episodes come out and confirm it. And either say, yes, you're right, or no, you're not. And as I mentioned the other day, when I did my response video to the Brothers React video, the only way that I feel, the only way that I feel we'll probably get any kind of straight answer is when both series finally come to an end. And that's probably going to be after season 9, if season 9 is the last season of Friendship is Magic. That's the only time we're going to get any kind of answer. Because just like with Legend of Korra, we didn't get any answer to what was pretty much right in front of our faces until the series was over. I mean, let me check something here just to. Okay, this is what it was. This was Legend of Korra. Here it is. Heck, she even has her own Wikipedia page. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Can I see? Asumi. See, the Daily Dot says something. Let me bring that up. Let's see. Okay, here we go. This is what the Daily Dot says when it comes to that. It says co-creators Mike Diamato and Brian Kotezico, or Brian Kotezico, sorry about that, came right out and said it. Cora and Asuma are a couple. And this is days, and this was back on December 23rd, 2014. And this was apparently, I don't know if it was days or months afterwards, but you had the co-creators pretty much confirm it. And that's what I was talking about in the video I did, I think on Tuesday, and what I talk about and what I'm mentioning here. And it kind of coincides with what Anthony C. said. You know, that besides us, the only other people that would like to see a romantic relationship happen between two characters of the same gender is the writers themselves. And like I said, the only way we'll get any real truth is if the writers themselves come out and say it. And we probably won't get any kind of indication of that until Equestria Girls and even Friendship is Magic is done. And honestly, I could see that happening. I could see the writers of Equestria Girls and perhaps Friendship is Magic coming out and saying, you know what? You know that whole Applejack Rarity relationship or romance, as you said, that we teased in Roller Coaster of Friendship of Equestria Girls? Yeah, what about it? Oh, but by the way, yeah, about that, now that the show is over, we can pretty much confirm that it was indeed canon. But the reason we couldn't really confirm it at the moment is because we were still ordered to look at it as a kids show. That's pretty much it. Just like Legend of Korra, even though fans indicated it, fans talked about it, the way the final scene in the final episode was drawn and filmed, indicating, what a lot of fans assumed and speculated to be true. Nothing was really set in stone until possibly days, weeks, months later, when the creators themselves came out and confirmed it. And yeah, there was backlash by a lot of critics all around, like, how dare they do this? Oh, hey, this is a great moment for American television, American animated television, especially family television, and all that. It's a great moment to see them cross this line. But yet, you had this mixed reaction. You had this mixed reaction, and pretty much, it took the writers themselves, the co-creators themselves, to come out and say, yes, it's true. So don't be surprised if perhaps when it's all said and done, the writers behind both Equestria Girls and Friendship is Magic, the creative staff, which is pretty much the same creative staff period, comes out and says, yeah, some of what you speculated was true. Don't be surprised by that. And again, it's like Anthony said, only the writers themselves would probably know the answer, because they would probably want to see it secretly happen as well. But, we'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I know this dragged on, this portion of the video, so I do apologize. But yeah, it's like when you take a look at the reaction fans had with this special coming out of seemingly nowhere, according to Dr. Wolf, you can't really I think you can't really blame them, because when you're pretty much focusing the episode on two characters, the way one character reacts to another when one says a certain line, and then the way you have them come back together, forgive each other, and then you have that photo montage, and then you have the moments during the song photo booth. It's like, what other reaction are you going to expect from what other kind of reactions do you think fans are going to have? Yeah, young kids initially won't be like, oh, wait a minute, are they in love? Did they make them fall in love with each other? What's going on here? I don't get it. A lot of young kids, with all due respect, won't understand that. The younger audience, but that older audience, the audience that's around my age, if not older, if not younger, the audience that's in high school, in college, even junior high, if you will have a better understanding of what's going on here. They'll have a better indication of what's being presented here in their eyes than what a young kid would be. That's pretty much the truth. Like I said, a young kid, young girl, young boy may not see it may not view it the way we do, or see the indications or the little hints here and there, because to them, that's pretty much how girls, react towards each other. They're always going to be a little bit more lovey-dovey and feminine and romantic towards even each other as best friends. But young kids won't see, like I said, what we see. And what we see is, yeah, we see that, but not necessarily exactly that. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's complicated in a sense, but pretty much pretty much I think, again, honestly, I think it's just a far conclusion that, hold on for a sec. Just checking something. But I think in conclusion, what I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, and like I said, it's early, so I do apologize. But at the end of the day, you can't really blame anybody for feeling a certain way or reacting a certain way, because when they see an episode or even a special like this, pretty much in their eyes, canonize a relationship between two main characters, you can't blame them for the reaction they have. You can't blame them for coming out and saying, oh, they made it canon. They did it. You can't blame them for reacting that way. And again, the only way we'll get any vindication of whether or not what we saw was canonized or not is if the writers come out and say it themselves. It's pretty much true. It's pretty much a fact. But yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to ramble on right now as far as that goes. Because like I said, the only way we'll get any kind of vindication, any indication of any kind, is if the writers themselves come out and say something. And we probably won't get that until both series officially end, whenever that may be. So anyway, moving on. The other news that broke apparently is a week from Saturday, a week from this Saturday, on the 21st, I believe. I think it's the 21st, could be the 20th, I can't remember. But apparently, a week from this Saturday, a new episode of Friendship is Magic is supposed to come out. Now, we know the hiatus is supposed to, the mid-season 8 hiatus is supposed to go into at least mid to late August. Maybe early August at the latest. But it looks like it's going to break away from that tradition and give us a new episode a week from this Saturday with the episode Yakety Sax, which is a Pinkie Pie related episode. So I'll set my DVR for it, but I'm not really sure. Because sometimes networks, if not cable providers, will make a mistake by listing something that sounds like it's going to be new, but then ends up being a repeat. Basically, what I'm saying is that even though Yakety Sax, which is the next season 8 episode, apparently is being listed, it doesn't confirm that it's going to, show up. As far as we know, it could be a mistake on their part, and we could end up getting no non-compete clause, or we can end up getting a season 2 episode. We don't know. Or we could end up getting another Equestria Girls special. We don't know. It's pretty much up in the air, but right now the word going around is Yakety Sax, which is the next season 8 episode, is being confirmed. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I mean, I'll set my DVR, because my plan is to basically, once it gets DVR'd, to take that other blank DVD that I have and start recording episodes. That's pretty much my plan. So we'll have to wait and see. Now, speaking of episodes, speaking of seasons, news broke that this fall, I think it's going to be in October or September, one of those two. I think it's October. That season 7. Let's see. Amazon will show. Ooh, that's not what I'm looking for. Oh, not again. October 20. No, that's not it. What am I saying? Here you go. October 9th. October 9th, season 7 will be released onto DVD. Now, the cover is kind of reminiscing of season 6 cover, except instead of having Rarity and Dash on top and Fluttershy, Twilight, Pinky in the middle, and Spike and Applejack on the bottom, and then you got a blank space right there next to them. Well, not a blank space. It's kind of like, you have one space in one color and another space in another color. It's kind of switched up here, because here you have Rarity and Twilight on top. You have Dash, Spike, Applejack in the middle, Pinky and Fluttershy on the bottom. So that's kind of cool that in several months you'll get season 7. Even though season 7 is on Netflix right now, if you want to have a physical copy of it, you'll be able to have it on hand very soon. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to see. Pretty cool to hear. Now, apparently they don't say what the bonus features are, but from what some people are saying, the bonus features primarily are going to be like a sing-along and possibly, like I said, it's going to be the sing-along but mostly it's going to be a sing-along, and then of course you put the disc in your laptop like this, and you can print out some coloring sheets or something. So that's pretty cool. That's good to see. It's good to it's good to hear that we're getting season 7 on DVD. It's kind of weird that it takes about a year after it shows up. What's weird is Netflix. Well, I understand it's a lot easier to transfer episodes over and distribute episodes to a streaming service digitally. You know, it's a lot easier to do that. But it's kind of surprising that it takes a year after a season ends for it to show up on DVD. Well, well, then again, they got to get all the episodes right. They got to make sure they get the features in there. So it's understandable. I mean, if I'm Shout Factory, though, I don't miss out on opportunity here. Here's what I do if I'm Shout Factory. If I'm Shout Factory, if I'm Shout Factory, I work with Lion Gates and I put season 7 out on its own and I pair it in a pack with the movie. Why? Because season 7 is supposed to lead into the movie. And then I do the same thing later on next year when I release season 8 onto DVD. I do the same thing. I pack the movie with the season, with the recent season, so you can have some kind of continuity connection there. That, you know, that's what I would do. Just my opinion. Just my opinion on what I would do. But yeah, it's good to hear that we're getting season 7. Even though I have a couple of the episodes, like Uncommon Bond and Shadow Play, on DVD. So, but speaking of physical releases, one of the things that some people were discussing and talking about at some of the forums was why hasn't there been any Blu-ray release of the seasons? You know, the series practically begs, in a sense, for a Blu-ray release because it's in high definition and it's easy to transfer to Blu-ray. Here's the thing. Here's the reason we haven't gotten that. It's called money. And no, it's not because Shout Factory financially doesn't have the money to do that, or DHX Media doesn't have the money to do that. No. Financially, they're good. What I'm talking about money-wise is, what would you rather make more money on? Huh? What would you rather make more money on? A complete, and I know this is going to sound confusing, but what would you make? What would you rather make more money on? A 2-3 disc set that's going to run for about $14, $15, $17, maybe $20, or a single Blu-ray set, a single Blu-ray disc of the entire season that's going to go for about $15, $15 to $20. I mean, it evens out, yes. It evens out, yes, but what are you going to feel is going to make you more money? What do you think is going to feel more attractive? You know what I'm saying? You know, traditionally, a multi-disc set is more attractive. Sorry about that. It's more attractive to the human eye than a single Blu-ray set, because that could be easily glossed over. But if you see this massive thing in front of you, well, not massive, but pretty thick thing in front of you that says season on it, of course you're going to want to get it. Now, as far as a Blu-ray release goes, one thing I mentioned at the MLP forums is I believe we will get a Blu-ray release, but we will get a Blu-ray release when the series is complete. Yeah. When the series comes to an end, which again is indicated to be season 9, although things can change. When it does come to an end, that's when you're going to get a complete Blu-ray release. You're going to get all the seasons, and this is, I think, what Hasbro and Shout Factory are waiting to do. They're going to get all the seasons, and they're going to compress them together into one set. You're going to have 26 episodes on one disc each. That's what's going to happen, and they're all going to be released as a massive Blu-ray box set. Think about this. Take a look at what Shout Factory is doing with Nickelodeon. I think Shout Factory is the one releasing this. Avatar and Legend of Korra initially were DVD complete series releases, and now just recently they both got Blu-ray releases, as far as I know. Look at Batman the Animated Series. It's taken a while, but it's going to get a Blu-ray release down the line. The point is, usually studios like to wait until they have everything that's needed to do a complete series set or to do a Blu-ray release. And I think with Shout Factory, they know that the money lies within selling a complete series set of Friendship is Magic on Blu-ray, more so than it does on DVD, because that's going to be more attractive. You can have a box set. You can have it all crammed into like a little neat box gift set, whatever, and go from there. And people will appreciate it. They will be more attracted to it than this big old thing or this big thick thing that just says, that says Friendship is Magic Complete Series and all these multiple discs. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you get like what, 4 discs in each? So think about that. 4 discs, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 30, 31. I mean, hold on. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 30, 34, 40. Do you think fans are going to want to scramble and having 40 DVD discs? Or do you think it's going to be more cheaper for them and more attractive to them to have 9 single Blu-ray discs? You know what I'm saying? I know it sounds strange, and again, now I know it sounds like a strange financial strategy to do, but to me, it makes a lot of sense. But to me, and I think even Shout Factory looks at this, then it makes a lot more sense to go in that direction than it does right now, because you'll be able to make more money off the fact that you're selling a complete Blu-ray set of the entire series, where fans only have to get like 8 discs each and not have to worry about having 40 multiple discs of DVD discs scattered around. They just have 8 right there. So that's when I think we'll get a Blu-ray release of the entire series. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's when we'll get a Blu-ray release. It's going to be when they do a complete series set. That's what I truly believe. So there's that. But yeah, pretty much that's what's going on. Really not much more to say. Besides, did I get? Oh yeah, I did mention that I did get the rest. If you watch my video, in fact, it should be here somewhere. Yeah, it's right here. It's called "Got All the Funko Mystery Mini Vinyl Pony Power Ponies Figures Almost." Got all the Funko Mystery Mini Vinyl Power Pony figures almost. What that means is I now have all the main 6, including the Maniac and Spike, from the Funko Mystery Minis, including the different versions or variants of Pinky and Applejack and Fluttershy. So I got those. The last 3 that I got last 4 I got was different variants of Fluttershy and Applejack, and Twilight and Twilight and Rarity. And the way I did that is, as I've said before, I kind of did a little bit of my own sneak peek as to what was inside the box. And that's how I kind of got an idea of what was in there. So there you go. But yeah, I ended up getting that. Ended up getting those, finishing that off, if you will. And I do have new pony figures coming. I do have new pony figures coming, and one of them is kind of like this, and it's in the same line as Applejack, Pinky, Fluttershy, and Rarity. This is the Twilight Sparkle one. It's the snap-on dress deal. This is the Twilight Sparkle one. So I have one of Starlight Glimmer coming. I have the Starlight Glimmer one coming as well, which I can't wait to add to the collection. As you notice, I haven't yet got her out. I've had her for about a month now, so I got to figure out where I'm going to display her. I think I have an idea. So yeah, can't wait to look into that. And besides that, I also have a new Rarity figure coming. It is called the Meat Talking Rarity. I think that's what it's called. Let me check my history here, and that was my dog. She's sleeping. Let me check my history. For a second. Yeah, it's the Meat Rarity. It's the new mother featuring talking and singing Rarity and Twilight Sparkle. Yeah, they're called the Meat series. It's only Rarity and Twilight. The reason I was going to get Twilight, but the reason I didn't is because somewhat I do have Twilight, and she's right there. That was the Sing Along with Me Spike from the movie. So it's pretty much the same figure. I think they just added a few more sayings here and there. But now we got one for Rarity, and I'm going to be getting her very soon as well. So yeah, that is that. As well as in my Amazon queue, I currently have saved up in my Amazon queue. If I can get to it. I currently have saved up my Amazon queue. Of course, the Twilight that I told you about. The Guardians of Harmony DJ Pone 3 vinyl scratch sculpture. As well as the Magical School of Friendship. And you look around here, and you probably ask yourself, where is he going to put that? Believe me, I'll figure out a way. So yeah, there's that. And of course, I'm going to try to get the Starlight Glimmer Trixie Lullamoon fan series one as well, even though that's going to be in stock on September 30th. Some people already have it, so I got to look around to see if I can get it before then. And that's the Starlight Glimmer Trixie Lullamoon action figure, or fan series figure as it's been dubbed. So it has to be elsewhere, I can tell you that. Anyway though, that's what's going on there. Yes, I do have, in case you guys don't know, I do have the first half of season 8 on DVD. I did recently put out a new fan vid, which was classic, or PMV. So I did that. So yeah, just not really much besides what I've heard about, what people are talking about. Because that was kind of a surprise, to go on the Facebook group pages and everybody's talking about, oh, this Rare Jack got confirmed, Flutterdash somewhat got confirmed. Heck, I even looked on Facebook today, and someone says that they were getting disinterested in Equestria Girls, and then all of a sudden, lately, the more recent specials, shorts, and now this Roller Coaster of Friendship popped up, and now the interest is peaked again. And again, I believe the reason for that is due to the fact that, it's mainly due to the fact that when you focus primarily a lot of your stories on just two centered characters, being Sunset and Twilight, either together or individually, as popular as Sunset is, and believe me, I wouldn't have a Sunset plush if I didn't, you know, you kind of get a little bored. You kind of get like, okay, here we go again. Now what story's going to center around this character, or da da da. It's kind of like with WWE. A lot of fans are sick and tired of Roman Reigns and certain other superstars being shoved down the throats. It's like, come on, it's the same old crap over and over again. Do something different. When fans react like that, they start to lose interest. They start to become disinterested in the product. So when you start switching it around a little bit and start giving them what they want to see, like with Forgotten Friendship, yeah, it was a Sunset episode, but it switched things up around just enough. People are like, hey, this sounds pretty good. Even though it was based on a book or vice versa, when fans hear about or see previews and then hear about what happened in the book and basically how it's going to get translated to being on screen, fans are going to want to see it. I mean, in the book, when you pretty much say have Sunset going back and coming face to face with Celestia, fans are going to want to see it when they hear it's going to get adapted. Fans are going to want to see someone like Sunset back in Equestria because that's where they feel she really belongs. But when it comes to Equestria girls, it's like, do something different. I mean, we love Sunset. She's a great character, but do something different. And that's why lately, when you switch things up and you do what you did with Forgotten Friendship, you do what you've done with some of the animated shorts, and then you do what you've done here with a Roller Coaster of Friendship, then yeah, you pretty much start gaining people's interest again. You start getting people reinterested and reinvigorated in your product because you're doing something different. You're not just doing the same old grind over and over and over again. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see. But again, like I said, that when I read that just this morning, as I was posting up the links and everything, it is kind of surprising that one fan, and I'm pretty sure they're not the only fan, but for someone to come out and say, yeah, lately I haven't been too interested in Equestria girls, but it was, or, come out and say, yeah, I haven't really been invested in Equestria girls that much anymore until recently with these new shorts and specials coming out. Now my interest has peaked again because, like I said, they're switching things up, and that's a good thing. That needs to be done. You can't just focus most of your specials or your movies on two-centered characters, either together or individually. The shorts pretty much showcase the fact that you can do that. You have a short with Pinkie Pie being a babysitter. You have shorts with Fluttershy, Rainbow Dash, Rarity. Heck, you do a short based around Rarity Investigates, Equestria Girl style. So you can't tell me that doing something like that doesn't work. It does. Yes, sometimes you could be retreading stories that you did in Friendship is Magic, but still, you can't tell me that focusing on other characters doesn't help out in that scenario, because it does. It really does. So, and it makes things more intriguing and interesting because the spotlight is not primarily centered on just one or two characters, as much as people love those two characters. So, yeah, but getting back to what I was talking about at the beginning when I was doing this discussion video, just for the fact that, you have fans coming out and giving the reaction that they did towards this special, towards Roller Coaster of Friendship. And then when you look at the Bronies react video to School Days and how they're reacting to the moments with Starlight and Twilight there, especially towards the end, it's like, again, a lot of us older fans that are my age, older than me, younger than me, in my demographic generation, if you will, fans that are in college, high school, maybe even junior high, we kind of get what we're seeing here. We kind of can piece it together. We can see what's being hinted at in our eyes. From our perspective, we can see, oh, you're hinting at or acknowledging that there might be something there more than just friendship between the two. Da, da, da. But to a young kid, they don't know that. And that's why the writers are not going to come straight out right now and say anything, because even if, as Anthony C. and I mentioned earlier says, even if they secretly want to see it happen too, they're not going to come out and say anything due to the fact that, they still, at the end of the day, have to remember or have to be reminded that this is a kids show and that kids are not going to understand this. They're not going to understand, oh, Rarity and Applejack of Equestria Girls are now girlfriend. Applejack's like the boyfriend, is more on the boyfriend side of things than the girlfriend. You kind of get the idea. They're not going to understand that. To them, this is just how girls react towards each other as besties, and that's it. So, unless the writers come out and say something on social media, we're not going to know the truth. Even we're not going to get we know the truth somewhat, especially us, the older fans, but officially we won't know. And like I said before, we probably won't ever know, even if the series ends. But I think, honestly, when you look at the end of it, or when you not look at the end of it, but when you look at it from afar, I think Equestria Girls and Friendship is Magic are going to follow somewhat in the same, I wouldn't say same pattern, but I would say in the same direction as Legend of Korra after it ended. And what I'm talking about is you're pretty much going to have the writers or the creative staff of both shows, which is pretty much the same creative staff, come out when it's all said and done, maybe give it a couple weeks, maybe a month or two. They're going to come out on social media, maybe at a convention, and confirm our suspicions and probably say, yeah, you were right about this, you were right about that. So we'll have to wait and see. But that's really all I'm going to say on it, guys. So let me know what you all think about, the reaction that Roller Coaster of Friendship, kind of the vibe, the reaction Roller Coaster of Friendship gave off this past Saturday, and how the fan. Well, basically, what I'm saying is, let me know what you guys think about the vibe and the reactions that the latest Equestria Girl special, Roller Coaster of Friendship, sent throughout the fan base. And do you agree with some of the fans on that, on feeling that this, in a sense, did canonize this shipping, even though it's not officially canonized or anything? What are your thoughts on the little teases, possibly of canonizing maybe a Twilight Starlight deal in Friendship is Magic? Let me know what you guys think about that, because like I said, it's up to the writers in the end to say anything. And I think if they do say anything, it'll be when both series, are said and done. So let me know what you guys think down below, though. Comment if you like. Thank you all for tuning in live. Really appreciate it. Anthony C., Anthony Cannon, thank you for replying back to my video when you did. Hopefully you guys take your time and post live streaming to watch this. It's pretty much a 2-hour deal. So let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. I'd like to hear from each and every one of you. And I will talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care.